Eve again. I'm the Director of School Culture and After School Programming at Circle City Prep, which is a school located in Indianapolis, Indiana. Circle City Prep is a school or preparatory school located on the far east side of Indianapolis. Honestly, schools need to exist everywhere, clearly, especially high performing, high quality schools. We just saw a need here in this zip code. There are so many strong schools that we want to, neighborhood schools that we want to support and be partners alongside of. And also, we know that just given the political nature of charter schools, that we have resources and opportunities to offer the kids of the Far East Side that other schools may not have access to. The Far East Side of Indianapolis is a space of Indianapolis that has been historically underserved. In fact, it is an area that used to be thriving, part of the Black community here in Indianapolis, and then through some political decisions decades ago, this neighborhood has actually been stripped of a lot of its resources and power. And so, as you know, is the story of multiple cities across the country. And so for us, it's a matter of there's so much rich history here that has been, through no fault of the community's part, has been stripped from them. And so, but they are driven. There's so much entrepreneurship that's going on here. There's so much community support and engagement. It is a very tight knit community on this area of Indianapolis, and so it's just a matter for us of how do we come in and serve and support what's already being done, as opposed to coming in and trying to save people who don't really need our saving. I am so impassioned, I think, by my personal experience. When I was growing up, I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and school looked a lot different than when I moved. When I was in middle school and high school, we moved to a small town in northwest Indiana that was a little more affluent. And my school experience was outrageously different, not just academically, but more specifically the opportunities and exposure that I had. I was able, by the time I was in middle school and high school, I was taking medical terminology courses. I was going on field trips to universities. I was getting to see a world much bigger than just my neighborhood. And that is not an access point that I had in Chicago. And so when I come to the school and I see that these students, they our academics are super rigorous. We really truly are prepping them from college, and there's so many things that are necessary there. We're a school, of course, we need to teach, but there's also so much more to providing and serving children. When we talk about the whole child, so many people, that's a buzzword so many people hear, but it really is truly a necessity. Character development, and again, just opportunity. So when I think about my passion, I want to make sure that I'm bringing something to the babies in our school where they're getting the same opportunities, the same exposure, the same view of the bigger picture of our world that students in more affluent schools get to see naturally. They why not learn a new hobby? Who knew if I was interested in chess? I wouldn't know if I didn't join a chess club. And so there's things like that we want to make sure we're offering our babies, and that drives me. Working with outside partners isn't always the most fun thing to do. It's just a lot easier to just do it yourself. It will be done right. But then at the same time, by choosing to work with outside partners, I am choosing to give my kids even more opportunity that I personally wouldn't have been able to provide for them, or our organization wouldn't have been able to provide for them. And so we knew that we're going to take the power and privilege that we have in our position, and we're going to use it to best support the community here in Indianapolis, where the roots are already so deep. And so we just, instead of uprooting anything, we just want to continue to pour in to what's already been built. Circle City Prep, we are innovating in a lot of ways. I think there are a handful of things that we can point to and be like in these very tangible, specific ways, we're doing something that's not being done in any other school across the city. And some of those being, we have partnered with an organization called AfterSchool, and we've created the first fresh prep kitchen. And so we renovated our kitchen, and now everything that we make for our students for lunch and breakfast and snack is 100% scratch made in-house. with organic and local produce and food. So like that's huge. Our kids, like we recognize nutrition is a key vital point in order to be able to learn. With our after school programming, and then our excursions that we do, every single student goes on at least 4 trips a year plus a college trip. Our after school programming is either $5 for the whole quarter or free, which is unheard of. And we offer, that's every single day, a club that's either chess club, cooking club, gardening club. We've offered over 72 different clubs in the last 2 years, to about 68% of our student population to participate in, and which is also not something that's being done elsewhere. We also have some new curriculum that we're using that is specifically culturally responsive to ensure that our students, the books that they're reading, the math problems that they're receiving, that everything that they're getting is representative of them and their homes and their cultures. We do a variety of Heritage Month celebrations, and so whether it reflects the identity of our students or not, we do celebrate cultures that are represented here in the U.S. every single month to ensure that kids are exposed to people who might be different than them, knowing that combating ignorance is going to combat a lack of compassion. Like we develop compassion in our babies by ensuring that they know that people different aren't necessarily bad, and that there is actually a lot of goodness in learning about things that are different than us. We're talking about student culture, family culture, building culture. And that doesn't necessarily, oftentimes I think in schools, people assume that means discipline and behaviors. But ultimately, with the culture that we're providing, is we're creating a culture of students are impassioned to learn, to be curious, whether it's about their academics or, like I said, I say it all the time of just like I am curious to learn. What are my hobbies? What are my passions? What are the things I'm good at? That maybe not be reading, writing, and math. Maybe I'm really good at this other hobby, and like through that I have an outlet to express myself, which is key. Or maybe I have a career opportunity. Like there's something here that I can then turn into a future for myself. And so those are like the work I do is so important because like any school is going to teach reading, writing, and math. Like schools across the country are doing that, but the work that we're doing by giving really intentional experiences to our students so that they have a robust breadth of knowledge about the world around them prior to going into the real world. Like that work is actually what's going to be setting up our students for success and a life of opportunity. I knew about After School HQ kind of in passing back when I was still a teacher. And so then when I moved into this position where we were registering for clubs, I remember the first quarter we tried to do paper registrations. And I then was out sick for a couple of days as the registrations came in. So there was no way for me to know the first come, first serve where they came from by who. And I had over 100 and something papers. And I just remember just being like, there's got to be a better way. And so I started to look through past notes I've had, emails, connect with other people. And I came across After School HQ and I was like, oh yeah, like I remember that. I wonder. Popped online, kind of saw what they did, signed up for the free, like trial account. And like we started using it just for this after school activities, and it completely changed. I mean, from quarter one with all the papers to quarter two, it was so much more streamlined. Family satisfaction was much higher. They were so much more happy being able to engage online on their phones, whether they're at school or elsewhere. It didn't matter. The deadlines weren't as tight because they didn't have to be so concerned about filling out this paper or talking to me. It also helped me. It totally curbed the amount of emails and phone calls that I was receiving just to answer simple questions because everything was so easy. So I think just like after that first quarter that we used them, like I was sold. I was like, we're using this for everything. Like this has completely changed my life for the better. And then because of that, I truly was able to focus on other aspects of my job and pour into other things. And I just really appreciate like that they lifted all of the like not so hard but definitely time consuming work that goes into the registration process, And I don't need to think about it. I could just focus on things that are more impactful for students. When I think about CCP and how far we've come in the last, this is my 4th year here. I specifically am so astounded by the growth that has taken place in our after school programming. We went from offering nothing after school whatsoever to offering 2 to 3 clubs a quarter with limited grade levels who are able to participate, and a mess of registration, just papers everywhere, wild. But then, whether it's through a huge catalyst was our partnership with AfterSchool HQ, and just the streamlining there, but also through investment with our staff, investment with our families. I think that after there was a consistency in practice of I know that CCP is going to do X, Y, and Z in the after school programming, I think that built a trust in our families, and so they're more willing to participate and engage in a way that they weren't so able to, just kind of testing the waters. And I think all of those things, when I think about where we were 4 years ago to now, we're now, when we sign up for clubs, we are filling every single club within the first 24 hours of sign up being opened. We are offering clubs for kindergartners through 7th grade and just all sorts of different hobbies. Even things as small and minute as Dungeons and Dragons. Who's going to be interested in that? Well, we have kids who are interested in that, and so we're able to offer that to them. And then, of course, we even have social club where we're teaching 5-year-olds how to interact with one another and be kind. And so I think that what we have now is something that I'm so proud of, and it couldn't have been done without the partners that we've made and the work that our staff has put into ensuring that we can truly give our kids something that they deserve. AfterSchool HQ specifically has been a huge asset in that process of just being able to connect me with outside partners so I don't have to go looking and Googling, as well as just making it very streamlined to connect with them, to process, to communicate, to get kids on board, and registered for things. All the headache is gone, which has also been just super strong, and me being able to do the work that I know is really important.